Number 9 is picking up its intensity and presence in our reality. And that number 9 goes directly against Venus. Venus is an enemy to the 9 because of its illusion, its fakeness, inauthenticity. The number 9 is the most authentic of the vibrations. Heart, soul, urge, and life path. These are the most authentic people that you will ever run into. The number 9s. They're the real deal. They're the real deal. And when it comes to that 9, it has past life of crisis with Venus. And because of the past life of crisis with Venus, it knows the magic and witchcraft that Venus has. It knows the tricks of Venus. Because it once was Venus in its ways. It used to be just like Venus. You can't fool them, you can't trick them. I'm a life path number 9. And because I'm a life path number 9, I see Venus in its true reality. And I see the archetypes of Venus for what they really are. I see through the illusions of beauty and pretty, sexy and all this other stuff, the laughter and charm. I see through all that bullshit. And anybody else who's a number 9 can see the same thing. Donald Trump's pen, the stroke of his pen, is setting up the stage of the 9 vibration that we all are about to pass through at the SouthNode Virgo. And this is going to wage direct war against the past timeline, forms, and expressions of Venus. We are going to lose in our life and collectively in society every enabling aspect of Venus that kept us in crisis with our souls, that kept us in crisis with family, that kept us in crisis in society. The things that we stand to lose are covered in illusions. It's covered in illusions. Donald Trump sees right through it. I didn't even verify what his life path for heart, soul, urge number is. However, this man sees through the bullshit. He sees through the bullshit. And he's getting right to it. The stroke of his pen is going directly against the Luciferic impulses that kept us blind, that kept us dumb, that kept us divided, that kept us inefficient, that kept us hustling backwards, that kept women out of their place. And now the stroke of his pen is quickly putting women back in their place, which is not in a subservient position, which is not less than, but it's out of the race and competition with males, with men. It's reducing the flooding of the presence in offices and places in society that they are not needed, but they want to be needed there. Right along with the rainbow buddies, the rainbow friends. The illusion of them being special, the illusion of their inflated ideals of value. They constructed their own ideas of what value should be. It's all flushing down the toilet in a swirl. You're looking at the doodle turds swirling in the fucking toilet, going down where the fuck it's supposed to be. The bullshit. Neptune is revoking all of its powers that it loaned to Venus. All the powers that it gave to Venus. Neptune is shaking Venus down. Give it back. No, turn it in. Turn it in. We got to get authentic. We got to get authentic. It's time to get real. Come on. Party's over. Wake up. Wake up. Throw some water on your face. Back to reality. And many are finding, hold up, I don't have a place to go after this. It's like you live all your life in a hotel. You live all your life on per diem with the job, but you never set up a home. You just went with the per diem of the job and you got these, what do you call it? You got these Airbnbs, but you never set up a home. That's what Venus did to women. Venus was full of per diem and handouts, false fake status that doesn't even belong to them, self-engineered and self-appointed value that nobody even values them for. They told themselves that they're valuable because of their college education. They told themselves that they're valuable because of all that shit that they put on their face. But it never made them valuable. Their job status and all this other stuff, it never made them valuable, ever. Never, ever. They said that of themselves. They never made a home for themselves as women. They never made a home for themselves as females. According to their nature, they don't have a place. So after all these things are stripped away, they're in cognitive dissonance. I don't have a home. I'm homeless. I don't have nowhere to go. This is the American female. She has nowhere to go now. And what I mean by nowhere to go, she has no way of verifying and understanding who she is as a woman once you take away college education and ambition in the workplaces and the lowering of the bar so that she could reach it. The DEI. And all of her rainbow buddies who surround her to help her to construct these false realities. Everywhere she goes, the rainbow buddies have to go with her to help her to create these fake false realities. She's fucking delusional. She's checked the fuck out of reality. She should get a social security check. The bitch is dizzy. American women are in a wake-up call. Who are you as a woman? Without all that extra accolade bullshit that you want other people to value for, but they don't. You're not a man. And this is the wake-up call that you're not a man. You don't have a dick between your fucking legs. What are you gonna do? Who are you now? You got a pussy. Who are you now? What you gonna do now that you have to accept that you got a pussy between your legs? What are you going to do now? Who are you? Figure it out. Without manipulating. Without playing people. Without tricking people. Without trapping people. Who are you now? What are you going to do now without playing tricks? Who are you now without being a fucking magician? Who are you now without being a witch with your energies and forces? Who are you now? What are you going to do now without a dummy to play with? Because feminism calls men to wake up. Who are you now that there's no more dummies to play with? You woke everybody up with your bullshit. What are you going to do now? Where do you go now? You got what you asked for. You're an equal now. You have to eat by the sweat of your eyebrow. You asked for that. You fought for that. You have to earn your keep. You fought for that. You went to war against marriage. You fought for that. You wanted to be single all your life so bad until you hit the wall and lost all your beauty. Now you want to be a wife. You fought for that. You want to fucking suck every Tom, Dick, and Harry, and you don't want nobody to say nothing about it. You still want to be treated like a little innocent virgin after the fact that you live like a fucking whore. You asked for that. You created that reality. And your rainbow buddies help you to do it because they admire you. What are you going to do now? There's no more high chairs. There's no more training wheels. There's no more secret gateways and passages. There's no more secret combinations. There's no more back doors. What you're capable of doing is your destiny. What you're designed to do is your destiny. Your biochemical, physiological design is a key indicator of your destiny. What are you going to do now that you have to create and you have to work for that which you desire to be, what you desire to obtain, and who you desire to be? No, you're not going to get somebody else to do it. Those days are over. Men taking care of women and all, those days are over. You're the one who fucked it up for yourself. And there's nobody who could say that you didn't. The American woman. American woman. You did it. You did it to yourself. So now what? Where do you go from here? Men are no longer interested in taking care of you. Oh, I want a wife so I can sit her in the house. No, the dum-dums do that. The sad niggas do that shit. The suckers do that. The miserable, oh, I'm looking for love, head ass niggas is the ones who do that. What are you gonna do now? Society is no longer programmed to take care of women. The system is no longer taking care of women. But they will give you a fair trade for your actual value. Your actual value. The harsh reality comes in that you're not as valuable as the picture that you painted. You're as valuable as what you actually produce from your 10th house. Your capacity at the 10th house. And you no longer can get mad, frustrated, protest to get your way. Because guess who's in office? Trump. And he ain't falling for it. You're fired. That's what he's going to say. You're fired. You got the right one now. They still hiring for hookers. They still hiring for hoes. They still hiring for prostitutes. Yeah, they always hiring for that. They still hiring for that. Go to a truck stop. The reality's here. One thing that remains valuable, infinitely valuable, forever valuable, is a woman. A real woman. One thing that men will kill for, fight for, compete for, is access to a real woman. To have a real woman in their life. And it's not something you can fake. You can't fake that. If it ain't who you was, if it's not who you have been practicing to become, disciplining yourself to evolve into, it is not going to happen overnight. A real woman is not made overnight. That's a lifelong process in the making. It takes a lifetime to make a woman. Understand? So as I said, they're always hiring for prostitutes. A new world. That number 9 is going to whoop that Venus. It's going to pound that Venus down into a humble piece of copper. Trump throws 9 against Venus. Understand? On a personal standpoint, what this looks like for some of us, that Venus is conjunct Neptune, is we're coming back to reality with ourselves. So there's going to be dissatisfaction at the 2nd and 7th house themes. There's going to be dissatisfaction about your esteem with yourself as well. Because remember, the magic and illusion of Neptune is dissolving, taking back what it loaned to Venus for the past timeline. So you're parting ways with how you used to relate to your astral body and your desires. A little confusing right now as it relates to these things. Not sure where you connect with others. The astral body is what connects you to community with others. It's what makes you an alike to another person. Oh, you're into those sort of things. You like those sort of things. I don't know. It's something about that person I just vibe with. We just get along. That's the astral body. No matter what city, state, country that you go to, project or whatever, there's certain people that you vibe with, that you're on the same frequency with, and that's your astral body. So this is changing. I no longer resonate with these type of people, these type of things. And the cognitive dissonance is kicking in. The confusion is kicking in. I'm not sure who I am, where I stand. I'm ready. I'm here. I'm all together. But I just can't pick up a connection. Understand? What this looks like personally for you, you need a reading to really understand how it plays out into the theme, the story of your whole life. Some of you niggas out there is trying to figure this out on your own, scratching your head, and you're fucking shit up. You're making it more confusing for yourself if you don't know what the fuck you're doing. You're making it harder for yourself. Get a professional involved. Understand? Remember that Venus rules over how we understand value through Taurus. And as females, as the key to understanding how all this energy works, just observe. How do women manipulate the theory of value in their life? All this makeup, these wigs, these lashes, BBLs, talking points, they run their mouth, blah, 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 trying to convince everybody that they're valued, that they're really not. And they use so many words to do it. They overemphasize facial expressions to try to convince you that they're a value that they're not. They can sit there looking like a fucking walrus and attempt to convince you that they look like a fucking supermodel. And they really do believe it and start believing it themselves. There's no difference between delusion and reality with most females. Understand? They really do believe the bullshit that they be saying. They really do think it's true. They really do think it's real. I'm not joking. SouthNode Virgo insists that we get real with ourselves. That's a nice wig, but underneath, how does your hair look? How does your hairline look? And after you take that wig off and you look at your hair and your hairline, how do you weigh that and compare that to what you had to say about the other brother who you keep insisting, oh, take off your hat. Ooh, look at your hairline. But look at yours under the wig. Look at your hair under the wig. Look at your face without the lashes. Look at your face without eyebrows that you drew on. Look at you without sucking fat out your core and putting it in your butt. Look at you. But you have so much to say and criticize about somebody else who's not worthy of your time and energy because you decided through these false realities that you're a value that you're not. They're cardboard cutouts. SouthNode Virgo is going to bring everybody back down to their reality. It's going to reduce all the narcissism. It's going to destroy narcissism. You got a certain job, you got a certain career that allows you to have a certain status because you have access to more loans, to finance a lifestyle that makes you look like you are worth a value that you're really not. Really, it's the bank who owns that value, not you. And you're in debt. But you stomp around in high heels to try to pull it off. Yeah, the reality's coming down. Trump is attempting to put a freeze on all government loans and funded programs, other than that which is infrastructural, such as, obvious social security, things of that nature, veteran affairs, but that which is of excess. Understand? So we're in a time where we're not going to be able to fake it anymore. The tariffs are starting today. We're coming into a time where wigs are not going to be affordable. Lashes are not going to be affordable. BBLs. Putting on tons of makeup. Being something you're not. And then criticizing somebody else for being who they really are. This is American females. They become Mrs. Potato Head with all these add-ons and add-offs. Plug-ins and plug-outs, sew in and sew off. Color on and draw paint. And then they sit there and make laughing stock of other people who show up authentically as who they really are. But they don't have the bravery and courage to be who they really are. The irony. That number 9 is about to humble some hearts. And that's what 9 does. If you have a life path number 9, you know what I'm talking about. If you have a heart, soul, urge number 9, you know what I'm talking about. You're very sober about life. You're very realistic. When you have that life path and heart, soul, urge number 9, God denies you access to vanity. He denies you access to exploit yourself through vanity. You get enough. You get what you need. You don't get excess. You get abundance for purpose, but you don't get abundance for self. God does not spoil you when you are number 9, because he wants your soul to be vital and free for himself. There's a difference. You're not impressed by this world. You're not attached to this world. You could do without it. The number 9 is already prepared to die. Death is welcoming to the number 9. The number 9 has already prepared itself for death. Understand, death will not be painful for the number 9. It will be painless. Because the soul will not resist. A lot of people want to think that all these attacks on DEI or addressing DEI like it's attacking people of color, black people, so on and so forth. The truth is that white people benefit more from DEI than anyone. That's a fact. After that, the rainbow community benefits from DEI. And after that, African American females. However, when you look at the percentages, and that 12% of the workforce represents African Americans, around 76% of the workforce, that is non-leadership, represents the workforce. And the 4% that represents African American DEI, it's justified somewhere around 33% in reality. So you have to know how to put it in context when you're looking at statistics. Understand? However, here's the reality. People in my community, black folks, we want it to be true that we're qualified for so many things. Intellectually, from an educational standpoint, from a character standpoint, we want it to be true that we are qualified for so many competitive roles, demanding roles that comes with a very high and lofty status. And that's part of the Venus with us. Because here's the part where it gets tricky. No matter how many degrees you have, how much college success you've had, how much training, how much experience. No matter who's behind you pushing your accolades and praising you to glory, you can't compete with someone who comes from a family of married people. You will have a hard time competing. This is a truth that we don't want to accept. We're trying to compete as singles, as individuals. And at best, we become delusional in our reality. You show up in these positions, in these roles, and you don't have the support, the infrastructure as families behind you. Not just mama at the house with the smoke detector chirping, but fathers, uncles, brothers, and other families and households who have family units consisted of man, woman, and child. Black families only have women and children, and the alienation of men and fathers, predominantly. That's a crisis, because no matter how much education you have, your character's going to come short. Your attitude's going to come short. Your capacity to deal with stressful situations gracefully is going to come short. Your integrity is going to come short. Why? You don't have daddies. Why can't you niggas understand this? You don't have fucking daddies. So your character is shitty. Your attitude is fucked up. You're delusional. You're checked out of reality. You can't compete with just a degree. You can't compete just by showing up, dressed to fucking kill, as grandma used to say. Yeah, you look sharp, all your clothes match, you got your cologne on, but you wasn't raised with a daddy. You didn't have a father, and everybody can tell you didn't have a father. You have no self-control, no self-restraint, no accountability, no self-introspect. Your character is shitty, it is shot, it is dirty, it is filthy, it is fucking scummy. And you can't hide it anymore. Your attention span is short, you're all over the fucking place. Your true intentions is to shine and get attention. Your true intentions is for validation and competition. Why? You became like your mother. You became just like your fucking mama. You ain't got all those degrees and you're still just like your mama. That's the problem with black people. You start all these businesses in Atlanta. You start all these businesses in Texas. But your service is sucky. Your service stinks. Every time you're behind the register, every time you're the person who's supposed to be the professional, you're not professional. Where does professionalism come from? Where does business professionalism come from? It comes from marriage. When you're good at marriage, you're good at business. When you're good with your wife, you're good with the customers. When you're good with your husband, you're good with the customers. It comes from family. Until African American people start admitting that single life culture, feminism, liberalism, broken families has been destroying their competitive edge and their ability to show up competitive in the world, because you want to be single so bad all your fucking life. You want to have children out of wedlock, bastard children, and raise them to be accepted in society. Guess what? God already cursed the bastard child. And you can get mad all you want, but you mad at God, you ain't mad at me. And that's part of the curse. The curse of the bastard child is that the family unit is not behind the bastard child in clarity, in solidarity, in integrity, in truth. And it has an effect, it has a bearing on the psychological capacity, on the spiritual capacity of the child. All this sucking and fucking and thinking that you're just getting scot away free with it. No, we all share the burden of that curse of associating and participating in that culture. The curse is there. You can't get mad at Donald Trump. Anytime niggas is showing up to do something, you got to caution yourself. You got to get ready because some shit is about to get fucked up. If niggas is running it, if niggas is doing it, some shit is going to be fucked up. Because that's how niggas are. Even black people don't like being around niggas. When are we going to get real with ourselves? Nobody's attacking you. You haven't been attacking the problem within your own community. You're always looking outward, pointing the finger, and you don't want to deal with who you really are so you can fix it and clean it up. That's the real problem. Nobody wants DEI because now another nigga's coming along to fuck some shit up and then have an attitude instead of having accountability. That's what America's tired of dealing with. There could be some real relevant arguments and discussions around race in which racism really is an issue in America. It's founded upon it, racism. It's founded on it. However, it does us no benefit to entertain it as an excuse. We're never going to make any kind of progress in entertaining it as an excuse. Yes, it is an issue. Where the problem with that comes in at is that African American females got away from their husbands. They went out front, and they're like these chihuahuas that just bark and bark and bark and won't shut the fuck up. You're not going to get heard like that. Everybody's going to tune you out because you call everything racist, you and your rainbow, broke wrist, sweet booty ass friends. African American women and their sweet booty ass sugary friends are always somewhere pulling race cards, always calling race fouls. Everything is racism, racism, racism. It's like the little boy who cried wolf. They don't have husbands. They don't have men. So they're like chihuahuas that are barking 24/7 and won't never shut the fuck up. For God's sake, please shut the fuck up. They ruined it for black people. Now when there really are issues to address and talk about, nobody's going to want to hear us because black women already wore the card out. They already swiped it to its death. Nobody can talk about race no more. Black women and gay people done already fucked that up. They overused it. It will never ever be heard again. And it's their fault. They've been out of place since the 60s. They've been out of place since the 60s, running ahead with no husband. No man. And not because men were not available, not because men were not accessible. They don't want men who have sense. They don't want men who have good character. They don't want men who are leaders in their community and families. They don't want those kind of men. Not until they hit the wall. Not until everything starts sagging. Not until they get fat and wobbly. Not until they get unhealthy and out of shape. Not until they hit at least 43 years old. That's when the sense comes in. That's when they start having sense again. That's when they start thinking with wisdom. That's when they start getting their mind right. When the gravy train is over. When the titties start sagging. They're brilliant at that point in their life. But before then, you can't tell them nothing. They're running amok, filling the community up with bastard children, and thinking nothing of it. And the children to them are nothing but weapons and tax come-ups. Increase in food stamp cards. Skip the line in Section 8. A convenient weapon to control a man that they couldn't keep. The race card is just, I mean, it is smoking. It got fire, sparks, and black smoke coming off. It's dead. And black women did it, and gay men. Black females and gays wore that race card out. We can't even use it no more. Even though it really is still an issue. We can't even talk about it because it won't be heard. Good luck on that. African American females led the feminist brigade. And feminism was all about competition with men. They have been obsessed with career and sacrificed their children's emotional well-being for that outcome. They sacrificed the status of the community marriage for that outcome. They sacrificed their role as wives and mothers for that outcome, not out of necessity, out of willfulness to prove a point to themselves in competition through the envy of men. Feminism. They replaced religion, they replaced their spiritual walk, their spiritual signature and identity in which the African American woman has always stood as a symbol of spiritual strength and integrity. Not no more. She has decided that she's a symbol now of collegiate ambition, career attainment, and status. Everything with her comes back to career, college, and status. She has no more spiritual signature about herself. She lost her spiritual power. It's been reduced to tarot cards, astrology, and witchcraft. That's her spiritual signature. And that's full of shit because she leaves God out of it. She has a long walk back home to get back home. If we pay attention to the current transit of Venus in conjunction with the North Node and also Neptune, what this is a faded undressing of Venus. It's faded. North Node. Faded emphasizes at the North Node a necessary alignment with destiny, with timeline, with the meaning and context of what the Most High's schedule of change and transformation must be. That's North Node. So it's not something, oh, look what you did. It's not something of, you're screwing up. It's not a thing of, I'm not good enough. All of the things that you could say to yourself to assign fault to the self, but this is a collective timeline that we all have to pass through. And females during this timeline of SouthNode Libra and SouthNode Virgo, which we are in now, it has everything to do with females. Females is how culture is changed. If little Sally doesn't like the way that little Timmy dresses, if she doesn't like the way he talks, the way he walks, Timmy either has to change to become what little Sally likes, or somebody else is going to get the girl who she does like. And that's the one who gets to procreate. That's the one who gets to leave children behind for humanity. The one who the little girl likes. So in the most simplest terms, it's females that predict what culture is going to be. Their palate, their taste, their like, what they're doing and what they're not doing, how they're behaving. Who they've become or not. They are the soil. It doesn't matter what seeds you want to plant. Corn, bananas, cotton, marijuana, collard greens. There's a certain soil for certain things that you plant in certain climates. There's certain things that grow in the tropics that's not going to grow in fucking New York or Ohio. Different women produce different fruit, and they host different quality of seed. The soil is the authority of what gets to grow or not. The soil, Mother Earth, is the authority of what gets to be or not, what gets to grow. If we're going to birth the future, if we're going to birth tomorrow, whatever particular quality that we're trying to bring in, it is only through the female. It is through the woman. So I know some of you out there, it got a tissue every time I got something to say about females. You're crying and you can't hear. You can't listen. You can't receive the message because you're in your fucking feelings. But it is what it is. Venus coming into Neptune. What this is that, and let me put it in context of America where I'm at, okay? I know there's people from all kind of countries that who listen to me, or at least who I have as clients. I have a lot of clients, so many, from so many different countries. Behind the scenes, I have far more clients than I do subscribers. I could never mention all the names or list all the countries. It's just so many, and I'm meeting new people every day. And it's amazing what even the word of mouth does. I think I have more clients in other countries than I do even in America. And if you're from another country and you happen to be listening, then you can, apply this, in essence to whatever your reality may be. But Venus is undressing herself before Neptune. She's dissolving. Neptune is a ladle. It's a melting pot. Okay? And it dissolves every metallic of every planet. It dissolves every element of every planet back into its most original, authentic state. It removes its power of illusion over that planet. So Venus has to turn in everything that Neptune gave her. Give me the status that I gave you. Give me the false sense of ambition that I gave you. That doesn't even match your destiny. You're not a fucking man. You're a woman. But your high heels are on chasing everything that a man is to chase. Your high heels are on pursuing everything that your envy of a man has you to form an appetite for. It's not even you. You're not even being yourself. And you've yet to ever realize who you are since your great-great-great-great-grandmother. Neptune is dissolving all that gas, all the fakeness, the phoniness, the insincerity. It's like you're this small town girl who went away to a big city, and you come back to your family with your big Gucci glasses on, your Prada and your expensive clothes and your big Jeep. You came from this big condo and overlooking the skyline of I don't know, Soho, Manhattan, okay? And you got this high-end career. You got this new boyfriend with, gel in his hair and tight ass pants and all this shit. A little toy dog in your hand, looking like fucking Paris Hilton. And you're looking at your origins. You're looking at where you came from, with your nose up in the fucking air. Down in Alabama, down in Mississippi, down in the sticks of Georgia, Louisiana. And you're suddenly reminded of who you really are, where you come from. You came to America and you got this highly ambitious career. You became this engineer. You became this politician. You became this doctor. You became this scientist. But it all began with your parents who were sitting at the table while they were cooking igusu soup or, fufu and fucking flip-flops. And you forgot these origins of who you really are. You forgot everything. Neptune is bringing you right back, humbling your motherfucking ass back down to your ashy ass ankles, your rugged ass knees, your nappy ass head. Bringing your ass right back down to who the fuck you really are. I have an older brother who I always admire, very strong, Marine. And he said something that was so profound just yesterday in the conversation. We were talking about corporate executives and different things that we were observing. And he said, arrogance, it flees from a person when the money flees from them. That arrogance will stick around until the money's gone. If you could lose everything, but as long as you feel like you have access to money, to pull off status, or someone who has money, where you can maintain that appearance or association to, your arrogance is still there. But once that is gone, even arrogance don't want to fuck with you no more. Arrogance gets up and runs away from your ass. I couldn't agree more. When we have arrogance, when we have something that's keeping us in a place of arrogance, we're delusional. We can't get in touch with ourselves. There's a blockage between you and the self. Everything that has been enabling arrogance, supporting and sustaining arrogance, feeding arrogance, is being shot with a fucking elephant tranquilizer. It's being blown away, knocked down. As I said many months ago, we're about to get sober. We're getting sober. Just a few years ago, we were high on life in America. Everything was a party. Everything was turn up. Especially from the noise that black females of America were making. Everything was a party. I'm getting to the bag, turn up, hot girl summer, tongue sticking out, twerking all over everything. The party is over. And everybody's feeling it as the days go past. The reality gets closer and sharper and sharper and sharper until you just can't hide it. You can't deny it. You can't pretend anymore like you don't see it. Arrogance makes you pretend like you don't see something that's there. Arrogance makes you refuse to acknowledge a thing. Look at, I got 93 subscribers on this channel. And there are 3 to 5 consistent people who are not plagued by arrogance, but they make themselves known. Out of the rest of these subscribers, arrogance is plaguing them to refuse to even acknowledge what they can't stop listening to, what they can't stop following, but yet they're there. Arrogance makes you refuse to acknowledge true greatness, true light, while they themselves stand in false light. Venus. Arrogance. Look at how females of America have been put up on pedestals, illusions of success through corporate America, college degrees, so on and so forth, DEI hiring, having access to places that put them in illusions of success, illusions of value in themselves that are not even true. To the point where today, any American can tell you and finish off my words when I say, when you ask an American woman what type of man you want, I could pause right now. You could look next to the person next to you and predict my words on what American women are going to say they want. 6 feet tall, 6 figures, 6-pack, no kids, and gotta worship me. He gotta make $300,000 a year, $400,000 a year, $200,000 a year, and the bitch is fat and sloppy. Make it make sense. Delusion. They're checked out of reality. What we're going through is shocking these bitches back into reality. It's jolting their ass back into truth. Wake your funky ass up. This is what the number 9 is about. You surf from channel to channel. Everybody out here talking about the number 9. Oh, this is the year of the number 9. This is about endings. But nobody's explaining what that really means. Nobody's really clarifying it. The number 9 is specific in what it's ending. Specifically, what the 9 is ending is delusions through Venus. Attachment to Venus, predicament with Venus, crisis with Venus, subjugation to Venus, self-victimization through Venus, oppression through Venus, collateral damage through Venus, curses through Venus, addictions through Venus, illusions through Venus, and anything that enables, sustains, supports those problems through Venus. It's saving you from Venus, so it requires endings. And the only thing that's going to end is your disempowerment through Venus. Illusions, delusions, luciferic, false light, gas. American women have the most obscured idea of what value is because they get their ideals of value from Venus, and Venus is nothing but art. It's all in your head, honey. It's all in your head, sweetheart. You don't got a clue of what value is, and your wide open legs is a proof of it. It's a testimony. You can't even keep your legs closed. How can you begin the conversation of value in yourself? Bitch, please. That understanding has not even begun for American women. Not since the great grandmothers. Understand? But she's about to know. She's about to learn. Through Venus, she has the idea that value is her college education. Value is her status and career. Oh, you are sadly mistaken. Because what happened if it is true that what God giveth, God taketh away? What happens if that turns out to be true? What if that college degree can't help you no more? Well, now that Trump has destroyed DEI, your college degree can't help you no more. It can't help you. Now that Donald Trump is in office, you will not have access to status of men, while men are qualified for that status, and he's standing there. His size 15 shoe is going to step right ahead of you, and it's not going to be some law or some rule that's going to prefer you to step ahead of him and your rainbow friends along with you. Neptune is dissolving all this fakeness, the fraudulent behavior, the fraudulent status. It's revoking these fake IDs that Venus has been handing out. Who are you really? What are your real relationships? If you didn't have them big ass titties, pretty face, wide open legs, who would even stick around? If he wasn't sucking and fucking, who would you even know? I got a PhD. It don't matter now. Donald Trump is in office. That shit ain't gonna help you. The most qualified person. And Godspeed to you in a world of men. Because the qualified person for the offices of society, of the public, are mostly men. And it's not because somebody's being unfair to you. It's because God made it that way. The 10th house is a house of the form and character of man, not woman. Hers is the 4th house. This does not mean this is not the case, of course, for every woman. But where a problem comes in at and saying that is whenever exceptions are spoken of with females, every female think that it applies to them, and it don't. That's the delusion. Every female wants to think that they're special and they're not. The layoffs are happening in waves, especially government layoffs. As DEI programs are being dropped in corporate America, in the corporate world, especially in government offices, according to Trump's executive orders, this is a hard hit to the collective status of females in America. The collective status of females is being hit from every angle. Doesn't mean that men are not affected too. No, most certainly. The primary focus, however, of all of this energy is the female. I cannot emphasize it enough. She's being brought down a notch or 2 or 3 or 4 from her arrogance. She's being reduced to her authentic self. The gas is being pushed out of the balloon. The helium is being sucked out. Venus is undressing in front of Neptune. Turn in your card. You don't need all the, no, this line of credit, that line of credit. No, give it back. This status and that status, it's all artful. It's not meaning of your heart. That is not who you are. You did it for art. You did it for attention. You did it for validation. You did it so that you can say to yourself that you competed with man and you're equal to man. But who are you? What does your fifth house, what does your heart, what does your real purpose say you're here to do? And it's not to compete with men. It's not to do things so that you can have validation and attention. It's not to fight for status. It's purpose. And this is what females struggle to understand. What is your purpose? Your purpose is not, oh, I like to go shopping. Oh, I like to travel. These bitches are dumb as box of fucking rocks is. Dumb as a box of fucking rocks. They're fucking slow. Dizzy bitches. What's your purpose? That God designed you for, accommodated you for. Biologically, biochemically, physiologically, psychologically prepared you for. What is your purpose? But you jumped on the bandwagon with all the other feminists and liberals. Oh, we got to go and compete with men. Meanwhile, your role in society, your purpose in society is neglected. What is that? It's called imbalance. It disharmonizes the social order, how nature was intended to be. Public assistance, handouts, Section 8, welfare, EBT, SNAP benefits. It's only a matter of time with the family courts, divorce. It's only a matter of time before something addresses divorce courts to where females are not incentivized to divorce, incentivized to marriage, but men lose in marriage and lose in divorce. All of these things are going to be fixed. All of it. I've never been wrong in a prediction because I'm not predicting from me. I'm predicting from what I read, understand of what these energies are doing. It's a promise. Get ready. Men are not going to be abused and oppressed anymore. The world is not going to be abused and oppressed by females anymore. Females do not own, rule, dominate the world anymore. They have to turn in their card. Neptune is undressing Venus. Give it all back. No, you don't need that. Take that off. Okay. Who are you now? Who are you really? Venus is an artist, is what you have to understand. Lucifer. Venus can make art of anything and make you believe that it's real, believe that it's true, and it's not. Look at how she chooses men. Over and over again, choosing the same Pookie here in America. The same Ray Ray. Because she believes art more than she believes reality. She subjects herself to art and she rejects reality. She fights for the art to be true and fights for the reality not to be true. That's a female. That's an American female. She hates reality and she loves to be lied to. Look at Keto Rose on tonight's conversation show. Type it up. Tonight's conversation show. Look at the mess they got. Ace Metaphor. This is what they do. Look it up. Keto Rose, Ace Metaphor, tonight's conversation, which is the title of the show. Look it up. This is American females. This is what they do. This is who they are. Is what they love. Ace Metaphor is who they love. Ace Metaphor is what they like. Ace Metaphor is what they choose every time. 19 Keys. The Billy Carsons, Anything with lights and noises. Anywhere you see a crowd of women following, a false prophet is there. It's the difference in America of females who were raised without fathers. They're out of touch with reality. They're delusional. They're cuckoo. They checked out. They think like 14-year-olds. Arrested development. All these things that are shedding away are Venus. All these things that are changing that Trump is taking out are Venus. And this is what manifests in number 9. Number 9, SouthNode Virgo, is awakening its reality over the world. And everything that Trump keeps taking away, it has everything to do with the crisis of humanity in Venus, the illusions of Venus, false status of Venus, distractions of Venus, artful concepts of Venus, delusional, inclusional ideals of Venus, inflation of the ego of the female through Venus, feminism, liberalism. Perversion and distortion of reality through the senses. Second house toxicity, seventh house toxicity, all of these things, Venus. Attempting to imitate true light, Venus. Jealousy and envy of the sun, Venus. Competition against the sun and Mars, Venus. And who's the sun and Mars? Fathers and men. Fathers and men. And this is what manifests 9. Anything of Venus must go if it holds illusion. Anything of Venus must go if it's blocking you from spiritual ascension. Anything of Venus must go if it's a distraction to authenticity in the self. Anything of Venus must go if it's presenting the acceleration and perpetuation of generational curses. Anything of Venus must go if it is leading to perversion and toxicity. Anything of Venus must go if it is causing harm, oppression, imbalance, injustice to self or others. Anything of Venus must go if it is presenting false realities and illusions. Why? Because Satan is being expelled. Lucifer is being tossed from heaven. O Lucifer, how art thou tossed from heaven? How art thou fallen from heaven? O morning star, how art thou fallen from heaven? Have we forgotten